Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. So today's video is a little bit different actually. It's the first time I film a video like this. But I thought, as it's Sunday, quite a chilled day, quite a chilled video, so you can have like a cup of tea and watch this video. I mentioned a few weeks ago in my stay-at-home favourites how much I was enjoying reading at the moment. I've enjoyed reading for a while actually. Last year I read a total of 43 books, which for me is loads, coming from someone who would barely ever pick up a book. To reading 43 books in a year I think is pretty good, and this year I have set myself a goal of reading 30 books, so hopefully I will get there. But today I thought I would share what's on my TBR shelf. I've got all the books stacked next to me. There's quite a lot to go through, so let's get started. I'll start off with two books that I have already mentioned. These were on my TBR pile for February, so I have already briefly spoken about them, so I will keep it very short today. So this is Americana. It's one that is high up on my list. It's probably the highest rated on my Goodreads at the moment, so it's definitely one I want to dive in soon. And the other is Red, White and Royal Blue. I don't know much about this, but I think I'm really going to enjoy it because just from the title it looks like we're going to be looking into royalty a little bit, and I feel like that's something that will just interest me. It seems like a romance and I'm really intrigued to read both of these books. Both of these were part of my February TBR. I actually had 5 books in total, so I am on the 3rd book at the moment. Still got 2 to go, so I'm not sure I'll finish all 5 in February, but still, doing this, like separating my TBR into categories, was actually really good, and I think this is going to be something that I do monthly, like on a monthly basis, so that I can choose smaller TBR piles per month, and I feel like that way it's a little bit easier and less overwhelming to get through the books as well. There'll be no order to the rest of this video. I'm literally just going to pick up from my stack and share with you. So this is also on my TBR. It's called My Friend Anna, and this is the true story of Anna Delvey, the fake heiress of New York City. So I believe this was actually quite a big thing, and it was quite highly covered and highly publicised in the news. I personally don't think I know this story. Like, I just don't think I know what happened. I wonder if when I start reading it I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember seeing that. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm quite interested in reading this actually. It doesn't have like the best reviews on Goodreads, which is why this has probably been on my shelf for so long, but I do definitely want to read it sometime soon. Next up I have How to Fail, which is by Elizabeth Day. I believe this is more of a kind of self-help book, got a few tips and things in there, just like positive vibes and like positive affirmations, which I really think is a book that I will enjoy reading, and a book that I will actually take a lot from and learn a lot from. A book like this. The Far Field is also on my TBR, and I don't know much about this book, I will be honest, but I believe it is based in India and has characters of an Indian descent, which I think will be a really interesting read for me, because I will be honest, I haven't read much literature based in India or with Indian characters, so I think this is something that I will be really interested to read and just find out more about. So this one is actually high on my to read pile, maybe one for next month. I also have Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. So I read Normal People, I think 2 years ago now. Really loved that book. I gave it 5 stars, so I have high hopes for this one. I really hope it's as good as Normal People. Next I have Sorry I Missed You. This is a book that I got via Amazon Reads. Every month Amazon releases their Amazon Reads, first reads for the month, and you can essentially choose a book for your Kindle, which you can download for free, and if you want to actually purchase any copies, I believe they're $3.99 or $3.95 each, which is a pretty good price for new books. Next up I have The Witches by Roald Dahl. I was actually sent this when the new film came out, so that's why I have it in this quirky cover. I've never read this book, I don't think, which just goes to show how much things have changed. When I was younger, I really wasn't much of an avid reader, and I just don't think I've read this. I've watched the film and the film didn't ring a bell, like the story didn't ring a bell, so I definitely haven't read this, but I think I would quite like to read it. I think it's quite a nice one to hold on to as well, just like for future and things. By David Nichols, This Is Us, which is a book that you will see so much in charity shops. If you ever buy books secondhand in charity shops, this is a book that comes up time and time again. I bought this one in a charity shop. I've never read this, but I know it's a series. It's been made into a series, which I actually really wanted to watch the other day, and I almost started watching it, but then I remembered that I've got the book, so I thought it would actually be quite nice to read the book before I started the series. So I want to read this one soon so that I can then eventually watch the series. But it's just a highly rated one. It's really quite popular, as is One Day by the same author. I don't have that book and I've never read it, but I would be quite like keen to see what all the fuss is about and see if it's my kind of thing. So on my TBR. I've also got 9 Perfect Strangers here. So the blurb just says, 1 luxury retreat in the middle of nowhere, 10 days in which no one can leave, 9 strangers seeking perfection and each discovering the perfect lie. Sounds like my kind of book. I've also got Kate Atkinson's Transcription. I picked this up in a charity shop because the front cover was so familiar to me, and I knew I had seen people talking about this, but I couldn't quite remember if it was positive or not. So I ended up picking it up anyway. It was probably, yeah, it was £1.99, which is pretty inexpensive. So I got this. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure what to think about it. I did check on my Goodreads and it's not rated low, but it's also not rated very highly either. We'll see. I mean, it might be something I enjoy. It might be something I don't enjoy. I don't really know. I don't know what to expect, but I will probably read it sometime soon. Another charity shop purchase. This is Blackwater Lilies, which again, I don't know too much about, but it is, or at least I assume, it's a thriller / mystery crime kind of book. And that's what I really like. So whenever I feel like I'm in a bit of a slump with reading and I'm not really picking up books so much and I'm not just in the mood to read, something that always puts me in the mood to start reading again is picking up a thriller, because I feel like with a thriller you're just so desperate to get to the end of the book because you want the mystery to be solved. Basically, you want to find out what happens, you want to find out like the big conclusion, I suppose. So in my opinion, a thriller is just absolutely perfect to get you back into the zone for reading more. I really enjoy a thriller as well. It's probably one of my favourite categories. I would say thrillers and contemporary are my top 2. I've also got a bunch of books that were actually from Rare Birds Book Club. So for those of you who don't know about Rare Birds Book Club, I have spoken about them a few times here on my channels, mostly in gift guides and things, because I think it's such a great gift idea. I've also spoken a lot about them on my Instagram stories actually, but basically Rare Birds Book Club is a book subscription. Every month you have a choice between book A and book B, so it's kept very secret. It's all a little bit secretive so that there is that element of surprise there for you. You choose a book based on a short description about the book. So every month you get to pick out a book, and then at the start of the month you will receive your book and it will be your book club pick for that month. So throughout 2020 I was a member, so I had a year-long membership, and I didn't get through all of the books, which just goes to show how great something like a book club subscription is. So these are the 5 that I didn't manage to get through, whether it be because that month was just a busier month or I had other things going on, but obviously I will still get the chance to read them. So the first book I have is The First Time Lauren Paling Died. This seems quite interesting actually. So Lauren Paling is born in the 60s and a child of the 70s. She is 13 years old the first time she dies, and then it goes from there. Haven't read this, so I can't speak too much about it. I think the reason I haven't yet picked this up is because it's based in the past, and I don't really like books based in the past. I just don't find them as relevant to me, so I feel like I can't really connect so much to a story, so sometimes I find them a little bit harder to read. But this is quite a short book, to be honest. It might have, yeah, just over 300 pages, so I think it will be a fairly easy read. So one day I just need to motivate myself to pick this up, and who knows, I might love it. I also have Conviction. This was one that I really wanted to read over the summer, but I didn't manage to. I think when I went away in the summer I took 8 books away with me, and I think I managed 5. But this is called Conviction. Everybody loves a murder mystery until they have a starring role, so it's that thriller kind of thing. It's a type of book that I really enjoy because it just gets me back in the zone whenever I'm having like a cold spell with reading, so this is high on my TBR. I also have The Love Square by Laura Jane Williams. I also read Our Stop as well by Laura Jane Williams, which I really enjoyed, so I'm really looking forward to reading her second novel. Then we have Followers, which is by Megan Angelo. I actually started this book. I think I read the first few pages, but I wasn't sure. For some reason, I thought it was like sci-fi-ish. It was like based in the future, which I was just a bit like, what? However, oh yeah, I was getting my numbers muddled. I was reading this as 2015, but it's not. It's 2051. Marlowe and her mother, Floss, have been handpicked to live their lives on camera in the closed community of Constellation. Like, the premise of this book sounds like something I would enjoy, but because it's so far-fetched, like based in the future, I'm just not sure. So we'll see if I pick this up again. And my final book from my Rare Birds book collection is American Spy by Lauren Wilkinson. Don't know much about this, but it sounds like something I would like. It says, in the year that follows, Marie will observe Thomas seduce him and ultimately have a hand in the coup that will bring him down. So an interesting book, I think, something that will be quite gripping, I hope, and it's quite a small one as well. So I think it will be a good book to add to my TBR. Next, I have Zadie Smith's Swing Time. Zadie Smith is such a popular author, but as of yet, I haven't read anything written by her, so I really do want to. This I picked up in a charity shop and I'm hoping that it will be a good read. I haven't read anything by her, so I'm hoping that this is quite a nice introduction to her and her writing, so hopefully it will be one that I enjoy. Then I've got Charlotte Gray, which I actually picked up from someone who lives locally. She was giving away some books and I decided to go and pick them up. Some of them I was like really keen on, and I've read quite a few of them that I really enjoyed, but then there were some others that were just like part of the bunch as well, like part of the lot, so I picked them up anyway, but I'm not entirely sure whether or not I will read it, but I don't know, we'll see. This is called Charlotte Gray, and I've just like quickly skimmed through the back, and actually it says, with Charlotte Gray, Sebastian Faulks completes a trilogy of novels set in France. So if this is the third book in a trilogy, maybe I just won't understand it. Then I've got The First Last Kiss, which honestly seems like your classic, soppy, predictable romantic novel, but I'll be honest, sometimes that's exactly what I want to read. So hopefully this will be quite a good story, because it's a bit of a chunky one, and I feel like sometimes with stories like this where they are so predictable, it doesn't need to be like almost 500 pages long, so we'll see. This is actually very highly rated on Goodreads. This is the most recent book I've bought from, like, brand new basically. It's called A Bit of a Stretch, and it's by Chris Atkins. It's basically his account of his time in prison. It's not a story that I'm familiar with, so I don't really know about Chris Atkins or why he was in prison or anything like that, but I thought it'd be something I'd be quite interested in. I read The Prison Doctor, which was about a doctor who worked in prisons, and it was a book that I found really fascinating. I really enjoyed that book, so I thought that this would be quite an interesting read, sort of from the other side, the perspective from the other side. Thought it'd be an interesting one for me to read, and I also bought it because I thought my boyfriend would enjoy it as well, so I thought I could read it and then lend it to him to read. The next two books I have are the most recent additions in my TBR. Both of these are secondhand, and both of these I got from a website called BookSwap, which my friend Teresa introduced to me. Shout out Teresa. And she introduced me to this. She showed me their Instagram, and then I signed up because she signed up, and then both of us were on there. We were really excited, texting each other for like 2 weeks until we got our first books from there. You pay, I think it's £3.58, so it's like a £1.15 flat rate fee, and then something like £2.50 postage. So it's very good for books actually. £3.58 is really good for books, particularly now when we can't go into charity shops because charity shops are closed, so we can't be buying them that way. So the first book I picked out was Marian Keyes' Grown Ups. I didn't realise it was this big. This is 100% the biggest book in my TBR. I had no idea that it was going to be this big, I will be honest. It's over 600 pages, which is a lot for me anyway, but it's a book that's been on my wish list for a while, and it's like £13 or something brand new, so getting it for £3.58 is really quite good. It's like £10 less. And the second book I picked out on BookSwap came with this cute little post-it note. How cute. When I received this I was like, oh my gosh, this is how I'm going to send all my books from now on. It's so sweet. I got this from a girl called Chloe, who then just wrote this note saying hope you enjoy, which I thought was really lovely. But the book is Clap When You Land. This is in really good condition, like better than I expected. It looks great, and this was so high up on my wish list. It's actually a YA, so it's a young adult, and I know some people don't really like reading those kind of books or think they're like not as good, but I actually really enjoy reading them, and this was one that was very high on my wish list. Very happy I have it Cannot wait to wear it. This is definitely one that I will be reading very, very soon. The final 3 books in my collection are all from Quercus, and they were actually sent to me by the company as part of their book event that they did December last year, where they were basically introducing us to books that were coming out this year in 2021. So I have 2 that will be released in February, which is this month. So 2 that are being released this month and 1 that will be released in April 2021. I'm really excited about these. These aren't the original covers or anything, so this isn't what they're going to look like when they are actually released. I don't know what you call them. I don't know if they're called like proof copies or something like that, but it's an early release basically. This one is called Madam. It's by Phoebe Wynne, and I believe we actually had a reading by her, so she read a chapter of the book. They want our silence, they want our obedience, but we'll start a fire they can't put out. A brooding, mesmeric novel with a feminist edge, perfect for fans of Naomi Alderman, Madeline Miller and Margaret Atwood. Haven't read any books by those authors, so we'll see what I think about this. I've also got The Smash Up by Ali Benjamin. This looks interesting, like even just the cover. Obviously I know this isn't the final cover, but even the cover is very, very interesting. This is a debut novel which offers the shock of recognition as it deftly tackles some of the biggest issues of our time, taking inspiration from a classic Edith Wharton tale about a small town love triangle. The Smash Up is a wholly contemporary exploration of how things we fail to see can fracture a life, a family, a community and a nation. Sounds interesting. It sounds like something I will enjoy reading. Finally, I have the final revival of Opal and Nev. This is by Dawnie Walton, a duo on the brink of stardom, a night that will define their story forever. I'm looking forward to it. I think they're not my typical kind of book, like maybe I wouldn't have purchased this, but I'm quite intrigued to read it now that I have it. Like, it's definitely one that I do want to read. I do want to make the effort to read, so hoping it's a good one. And if you ever want to know what I think about a particular book, or if you want to know my thoughts at the end of a book, then do make sure you follow me on Goodreads, because I update there when I start a new book, and I also rate the books when I finish them. So if you want to stay up to date with my reading and how I get on throughout this year, then do follow me on Goodreads. I will leave it linked down below. Those are the books on my TBR shelf. I have a feeling this was a pretty long video, so I hope you enjoyed watching it. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these books, or if you have any of them on your reading list as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel as well, please do subscribe. I'd love to have you here as part of my YouTube family. As always, a very big thank you for watching, and I will see you all soon. Bye.